Hey, how are you? Okay. Trump won the election, as far as we can tell, fair and square. I'm happy about that. He said the things that I, as a truther, wanted to hear. Like someone who was interested in the truth of things like 9/11 and all the shenanigans of this world we live in. And people other than truthers, like patriots, he said the things that they wanted to hear. And so I'm down with all of that. I'm glad he won, but I am skeptical. As a truther, I'm skeptical. And I don't think it's a bad thing to be skeptical. I'm skeptical that he is what he portrays himself to be. He says he was an insider just, I don't know, was it 18 months ago or something? But now he's not. Okay, maybe that's true. I don't know. What are you doing, kitty? You gotta come see me. Yeah? Okay. So he said he was an insider, but I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it's true that he's an outsider, I should say. Personally, I think it's an act. I wish I could have bet as many people as I could that Donald Trump was going to win, because I was almost 100% sure that he was going to win. Pretty much 100% sure. That he was the guy that the establishment was promoting. You're like, what? What are you talking about? All they did was try to tear him down. Well, the thing is, there's no such thing as bad publicity. I mean, all publicity is good publicity. What, you little kid? So the media, if they really didn't like Donald Trump, they could have just not talked about him. Like they did with Rand Paul. It seemed like they didn't really talk about Rand that much. They could have. But they didn't. So it seemed like, to me, what they really wanted was to play Trump up. They wanted, without rigging anything, they didn't have to rig any votes or anything. If they want a person in, all they have to do is feed us the perception, people like me, feed us the perception that they don't want him. Like he's anti-establishment. We're going to love that. We're going to lap that shit up. They don't have to rig anything as far as voting. And on the flip side, all they have to do is leak lots of bad stuff about Hillary. And there's no lack of bad stuff about Hillary, so that's probably pretty easy. Maybe they made stuff up. I don't know. I don't know whether she was playing along with it. If she understands that she's not the chosen one, it could have gone. It could be either way. That she's legitimately trying to be the controlled puppet president and doesn't realize that she's being sabotaged by the establishment itself. But I tend to doubt that. I think she would know. I mean, she was first lady, She probably knows that Bill was a puppet, and, if she was being sabotaged, she would probably know that it wasn't Russia doing it. So I think she knows. She knew what the deal was going into the election. She's playing her role, playing her part. She had that great fun time being Secretary of State, rambling all over the world in her pantsuit. So she had her fun, She's got her big, she's got the Clinton Fund or whatever. She's got all kinds of money. It's all working out. There's nothing wrong with that. Does she really need to be president? Are you sure she really wants to be president? just running a campaign is tough. Can you imagine being president? She's already been there. She knows. So I'm sure she's fine with acting out the role of someone who desperately wants to be the president, be the first female president. I'm sure she's fine with that. Yeah. So yeah, I'm skeptical that Trump is what he says he is. I know you like to think, I know many people, I don't know if it's you, many people like to think that Trump was gaming the system. Trump fooled, could be, Trump fooled the media into publicizing him, talking about him over and over and over and over. But it could be the other way around. It could be that he was the chosen one and he just said random stuff, knowing that the media was charged with the mission of promoting him. And speaking of him negatively, even I'm sure he, if I'm right, then I'm sure he knew that he was not being sabotaged by the media. He was actually being promoted. I thought it was odd that Bush pretty much laid down. He was low energy, and people chalked it up to the idea that he thought he was legacy, and he's sure he's gonna be the choice or whatever, and everybody's just gonna recognize the name. And no, I see it differently. I see him just laying down, trying to be quiet, because he knew that Trump was the one that had been chosen or selected. So here we are at the end of the game, and many people in the truth community think that the president gets selected. Okay, so now where do you stand? You people like me, I also believe that the president is selected as a puppet. He doesn't rule shit. Now where do you stand on that idea? Are you going to change your mind because your guy got in? He even said that the system is rigged, and yet he won. So basically he did the impossible. You can't do the impossible because the impossible is impossible. So either he's a liar and he was pre-selected, or we're looking at a miracle. I like miracles. So I'm not going to piss on the parade here. If he's for real, I want it to be for real. For me, mostly he said the right things. A nation without borders is not a nation. I agree. We're going haywire with this, letting people just fucking run all over us. I mean, if you can't pick and choose who gets to be a citizen of your country, you're not a country. Okay? You're not a nation state. And I don't want to go total anarchy. I don't want to go without the nation. I like there to be divisions, and this group is, this population of a country is such and such, and this is such and such, and it kind of works out okay. You get your different flavors, but you let it all just go haywire. That's not. You don't have a nation, man. I'm sorry. It's over. So I agree with that. Can't just have no borders. That's retarded. So Gary Johnson was like, he didn't want borders. Well, you can't be a president of our nation because then soon there will be no nation. It's not going to work out. He also, Trump also said, wouldn't it be great if we got along with Russia? I mean, that's all I hear from the alternative media, that Putin is awesome and Putin is a good guy, and I don't believe you. Okay? But it would be great if we got along with Russia, because I don't want World War III. Not that I think there will be. I think Putin is also a globalist actor. If you look a few videos back, you'll note that I mentioned that. As kind of a key to whether you're a globalist is whether you believe in global warming or climate change, whatever you want to call it. So Putin does profess to believe in climate change, because he said in his UN speech that we should work together, countries should work together through the UN to combat it. I mean, you don't say that unless you believe it's something that needs to be combated. You know. So I'm not saying he believes it's real, I'm just saying he's an actor promoting the idea that climate change is real, and going forward, I believe Donald Trump also will join in. I think the plan here is with Trump and this whole right-wing movement, which I enjoy, that's good, counterbalance to the left-wing craziness. The whole right-wing movement, I think with Trump, is to get everybody working together. That's the agenda. Now, instead of being, it's an excuse to get these major countries to work together on things like climate change and terrorism. You know, and working together, guess what? That puts you in the mind of global government. If we're all working together, you know, then it's not that far from, well, why don't we just have one government and then we can, you know. I mean, that's where we're sliding to with this. Everybody's working together like that, reaching across the boundaries. So he said it. He said, wouldn't it be great to work with Putin? Wouldn't it be great to be friends with Russia again? And yes, I agree. It would be. Because it's really stupid that we're opposing Russia over Syria. I mean, right? Isn't it? It's common sense. Everything Trump says basically is common sense. And appeals to your innate common sense, unless you're a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat, which he has no need to influence dyed-in-the-wool Democrats, you know, and you know Hillary has no need to influence dyed-in-the-wool Republicans. They only go for the swing voters. That's all it is. It's 50-50, right and left. And then there's the swing voters in the middle. And that's the people that are in play. People who are influenceable. So he's not concerned about influencing Democrats. When he says common sense things, I'm sure he knows it's going to bounce off their head. Because they don't give a shit if it's common sense. But people in the middle, it affects them. They're like, oh, that makes sense. You know, like when Chris Matthews asked Donald Trump, would you lock up someone who violated a law about abortion? And of course he has to say yes. I mean, yeah, I have to. Because it's the law. I have to lock them up. You have to prosecute lawbreakers. What are you even talking about? So if some woman had an abortion and she broke the law that said that you can't have an abortion, you would prosecute her? Yeah. See, this is the media attack. You call this an attack? I call this making Trump look good. He's just sitting there spouting common sense. The media has to come up with retarded questions, and that's how it appeals to the swing voters, and that's all that matters. I mean, you don't even have to rig the election. Hillary would have to. I don't think she was appealing to common sense, in my opinion, but. And another thing, I don't trust WikiLeaks. I don't trust Snowden. I don't trust Chelsea Manning. Chelsea? Come on. Let's be serious now. What are the odds that some truther hero is going to turn himself into a woman? Doesn't that back up this, social justice left-wing crap? Doesn't that seem like something that would be put on to promote the left-wing agenda kind of garbage? Doesn't that ring untrue to you then? That this is an actual leaker? That's just Chelsea Manning. So I'm skeptical about the other two. Snowden, I don't think if you work for the NSA, you're allowed to get away with that shit. So, and WikiLeaks, I don't know if Assange is actually living in an embassy. I don't know that. Do you? Okay, I don't know. I personally believe that these WikiLeaks is controlled opposition. It's controlled. Okay, so they're leaking stuff about the Democratic National Committee that makes that the whole Democrat idea look bad. Like it makes Hillary look bad. Anything that makes Hillary look bad makes Trump the obvious choice once the nomination has been reached. So that's all, in my opinion, that's all that was about, is the establishment trying to sway us so that they don't have to do any rigging of the actual vote. They just sway our minds. They don't have to rig any votes. So yeah, I mean, the DDN, there are real people in the Democratic National Committee who are trying to get Hillary elected. They don't know the plan, right? So all the establishment has to do is leak real emails. They don't even have to make them up. These people are probably doing some crafty shit. Okay? And now it's so easy for the establishment, they can just leak shit selectively that makes whichever candidate they don't want in to get sabotaged. That's like I said, though, Hillary is in on it. She knows. But these people who these volunteers who work for these committees, they don't know that, and then there's people who are paid to riot or whatever. They're just paid to riot. They don't know. They don't know the details of what's going on. So it's very possible that all that as well was meant to be seen by us. Was meant to be shown. The establishment wanted us to see it. I don't think we get to see what they don't want us to see. They showed us Abu Ghraib, but they didn't have to. They want to make America look like it's run by evil assholes, which it is, so that we opt for less evil assholes, and then there will be a renaissance, and everybody will work together, and off into global government we go. Okay, so many believers in Trump himself, they said, well, he'll never get the nomination because, the establishment just won't let him, and they'll put some roadblocks in his way. And yet it happened. And they said, well, he'll never, now that he's got the nomination, he'll never get the presidency because Hillary will rig it, or they'll assassinate him. And here we are. So, that wasn't true. Okay. But there's no proof that I'm right and that he's just saying what we want to hear, so that we the conservative America, patriotic America, liberty-minded America, do not revolt, because we're getting pretty fucking close with all this craziness and SJW bullshit. I mean, that's some nutty shit that's going on. So we're getting pretty close, and I'm sure the people who run our society have their finger on the pulse, and they know where we're at, and they can offer us. They're smart enough to offer us somebody who looks like what we want. And they shift back and forth, left to right, and that's how they please us all, and yet at the same time remain in power. They need this back and forth, and that's how they stay in power. It's good. It works for them. They're pretty smart. They know what they're doing. So the talk of assassination, if I'm right and this was all an act, then probably at least one of those attempts on his life was staged. There are real people out there who are nuts, and shit can happen. I'm not saying that can't happen. But the first one where the guy went for the, charged the stage, I'm pretty sure it was a staged event. And I don't know if Donald knew about it, but I think the establishment did. And the guy was just acting, That's my opinion. I don't know. So it kind of legitimizes him as a bona fide outsider in the minds of the public when you see people wanting to assassinate you. So anyways, moving forward, I think we need to watch Trump. I mean, obviously we need to watch him. We need to watch every president. Obama said he was going to do this and that, and basically didn't. He was basically the same as the guy before him. So we need to watch that. Donald Trump says he's going to do this. Let's see if he does it. Is he going to repeal Obamacare? I don't know. We'll see. Obamacare was some shit to me. I didn't like that. So you're going to tell me I have to buy health insurance? What the fuck? That's Obamacare telling you have to buy health insurance? That's not health care. That's just enforced consumerism. I'm telling you what to buy. Oh, fuck you. One thing I'm concerned with about Trump is the law and order aspect that he keeps promoting. He's talking about stop and frisk is a good thing. I mean, what about Fourth Amendment? How about you constitutionalists out there? Are you concerned about that? Law and order and the expulsion of illegal aliens, to me, puts us in the line of fire of a national ID card. Right? Does it not? It seems like those two ideas kind of set us up for a national ID card. If you want to be sure that these people aren't illegal, you want to make it easier on law enforcement. I can see Donald Trump promoting the idea of a national ID card. That has a chip or whatever. And from there, once you have that, if for some reason they could turn it off because you're a rebel or whatever, and now you can't partake of certain services because you can't show your ID because it's been turned off or whatever. I don't know what the deal. I don't know what this national ID card is going to consist of, but I imagine there's an RF chip in it, and it will go to a database, and the database might say this person is a rebel or some sort of patriot or whatever they want to deem as bad, and sorry, services, we're not going to confirm that he exists or whatever. We're not going to confirm that he's a citizen. And that's all it takes. They don't tell, like, let's say you're looking for an apartment to rent, and they don't tell the landlord that, yeah, you're a citizen, but you're a rebel or whatever. They just don't confirm that you're a citizen. And that's all. It could be simply that. I mean, they set up a system where you have to have this thing, and if it looks like to the people that you're seeking services from that you don't have this thing, then that's all it takes. You could show it to them. Here. Yeah, but it's not in good standing. So that might be the issue. It's not in good standing. I don't know. Anyways. There could be some issues that they want to work out through a national ID card that we can't foresee right now. And that'll be some way of pressuring citizens to be a certain way and to act a certain way, and or starve, or not get credit, or not get employment, or whatever. Okay, I can see that as a possibility. So the law and order angle, even though I would like them to enforce the border laws, that would be great. I think that might spill over into you and me. And so you and I need to watch that. Whether you voted for him or not. I did vote for him, and I'm going to watch it. And so if you did vote for him and you think he's an actual outsider, that's all I want is for you to keep an eye on him. I think a lot of people will, but there's also a lot of people who are just already making excuses for him. Like, he said, we owe Hillary a great debt for her work as Secretary of State and Senator and whatever. We owe her in his acceptance speech. And what are you doing? Are you sure you're really going to prosecute her? I mean, you were just telling us you were going to prosecute her and she was a crook and a criminal and she should be locked up. And now you're telling us this? How much more things are you going to backtrack on? So we need to watch and see. It's like Obama. He said there was going to be transparency, and there was not. He said he was going to close Guantanamo, and he did not. Okay. So we need to be skeptical, little kitty cat. Oh, yeah. What's another thing? Oh, the Sheriff Joe Arpaio thing. See, another reason why I think that this was all a setup is the birther thing. Okay, now Trump says that Hillary's people got it started. It doesn't matter to me. Because I see it as Donald Trump. This is an introduction. We're getting introduced to Donald Trump on the political stage with this event, with this birther thing. That's the introduction. That's how I see. That's what I see as the point of that. Because it didn't go anywhere, did it? Did it go anywhere? No. So to me, that was the whole point. And you know why it didn't go anywhere? You know that it didn't go anywhere because even Donald Trump said, "Oh, I can't quote what he said, but even he said, oh, that wasn't true. He was born here." And you got fucking Sheriff Joe Arpaio right in the background. The Sheriff Joe, I don't know, does Joe Arpaio think that he was born here now? Did he change his mind? Trump apparently changed his mind. There's a disconnect here. I think Arpaio is still looking into it. I think that whole thing was a hoax, is what I'm saying. Because if you were Obama and you were born in the United States of America, it would not be hard to produce a legitimate birth certificate or something of that type. Something legitimate. But what did he do? He produced an obvious fake. Why would he do that? Because it's a hoax. The whole thing was about introducing us to the truther Trump. So he has bona fides in the truther community. So he, to us, seems like someone who's interested in the truth. Well, now he says, oh, Obama was born here. Okay. Okay, well, I assume I don't care where Obama was born. If the elite want some yahoo to be president, they can make it president. Okay, that's the way it is. That's the deal. So I don't know where he was born. Imagine it was in the U.S. I don't care. But Obama played along, so he's not like an unwitting participant in this. Or whoever put up his birth certificate wasn't unwitting, because they put up some sort of digital forgery to keep the thing going, to keep the scandal going, to keep the idea going, to make it look like Trump maybe was onto something. Maybe Trump isn't an insider. Maybe Trump is actually an outsider. Maybe he's interested in the truth. Maybe he's interested in the truth of 9/11. And that's another thing that we need to hold his feet to the fire on. 9/11. Let's see what he's... Any president who says he's an outsider and interested in the truth and yet does not want a new investigation into 9/11. Okay, that guy's bullshit, right? Because we know buildings don't free fall. They just don't happen, okay? So if he thinks that a bunch of Arabs crashed airplanes into the towers and that's what happened, and he continues to think that through his presidency, I think that's a lot of bullshit. That guy's bullshit. That's all it takes. That'll be enough for you to know. Okay? Then, 2 years in, he hasn't brought up the idea of 9/11. It wouldn't even take 2 years. I mean, what's it to you? What would be your tipping point? It's been a whole year and he hasn't talked about 9/11, about that bullshit. So if that don't come up, if that doesn't come up, I mean, if you're not already convinced, because you're one of those people like me who thinks there's a pre-selection of presidency, if you're not already convinced, but after a certain period and he doesn't reinvestigate 9/11, and he continues with the idea that it was just Muslim terrorists, I think it shouldn't be long before you're like, okay, we're getting scammed. It was a giant psyop. They put a guy in who looked like he was legit. Damn it. Right, little B? Alright, so I'll just be skeptical and let's see how it goes. Hopefully I'm wrong. That's all I can say. Alright, good day.